What's going on, y'all? I've got some really cool buffs and changes for Polteageist, which I will explain in just a second. I promise I'll explain the typing choice and all the cool abilities and the moves and all that stuff. But before I can get into any of that, I do want to have an important disclaimer for anybody who's new here. First of all, I appreciate you clicking on the video. Shout out to you. Second of all, if you are new here, I recommend you pause the video and read the description because I've got a lot of really important background information about the ROM hack and the way it's balanced. So you can read that in bullet point form down below. It'll give you a lot of context. Like, for example, and especially in this case, having these three types of ability slots in a team-locked context is great because your Pokemon is extremely versatile. It can be used defensively or offensively or whatever, depending on the situation, right? So, that's all really good. And then when you're done with the video, I recommend you check out the playlist link down below, and then most importantly, you look at the Google Sheet. Don't click off now because it'll mess up my watch time. And if you want to support my work, you can do that, number one, by watching to the end. Number two, by dropping a comment, leaving a like, subscribing, all that stuff. I know it's annoying when people ask, but it would be helpful. So if you can do that, shout out to you. And then, Polteageist. Oh, and the last thing is just the move guide. Moves in this ROM hack are entirely reworked, so looking at the move guide is super important to understanding how the Pokemon function. So definitely give that a look when you're done. With all that being said, though, Polteageist, Ghost Fairy, I think it fits very well. Number one, I wanted them to have a dual type to match Sinistcha, right? They also have the exact same three abilities as Sinistcha, however, the typing and the stat distribution and the move pool stuff makes them significantly different. I mean, mostly I would say the signature moves and the typing is the big difference, because a lot of their coverage is like very similar, actually, because they are similar Pokemon, of course, although, the stab on the grass versus the fairy, the defensive utility of grass versus fairy, the moves, the levels at which they learn the moves, stuff like that is all, changes the way the Pokemon functions fundamentally. This guy would be super fun to use. So quickly I can show Sinistcha just so you can compare the stats. Essentially, Sinistcha has 10 less speed and special attack and 10 more defense and special defense. Otherwise, they have identical stats. And then, of course, the typing is the main difference. Although the stats, I mean, it's a big enough difference. It is stronger and frailer and stuff, but it's not like it's actually frail. I mean, it's still very tanky. 71, 96, 114 bulk with investment is very, very, very bulky. It's got tons of great healing moves in the form of Rehydrate, Draining Kiss, Mega Drain, Siphon, Giga Drain, cool stuff like that. So that's all really fun. Soul Absorb as well. All of those are really good heal moves. Strength Sap, which is insane with Battle Armor especially because it means you can't be crit, so you can essentially keep clicking Strength Sap versus any physical attacker and not have to worry about being crit through the drop. So flavor-wise, I chose Battle Armor because they got the T armor. Oh, I didn't cover the fucking fairy typing yet. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it should be relatively obvious, but if it's not, I mean, the cups in general have like this. I mean, I don't know, fucking like Beauty and the Beast type vibes where it's like a mystical fairy tale style like teapot, tea in general. I mean, a lot of food-based Pokemon are fairy type, like Alcremie, Dash Bun, or Pokemon based on smell, for example, like Aromatisse, stuff like that. So, being this like aromatic, fragrant tea in a teapot, like a possessed teapot, I think makes a lot of sense to be fairy. And I also just really wanted them to be dual type because otherwise they just feel so much more boring and lame compared to Sinistcha, which in vanilla it's fine because they are totally different. I mean, in competitive especially, Polteageist does the shell smash shit, does the same thing every time, and then Sinistcha does the same, its own things. But I don't like Pokemon that are one note. I don't want them. I mean, this is a ROM hack where I reimagine every Pokemon. I give them cool utility based on their, their flavor and their lore and what I interpret to be fitting for them. So in this case, I like them both being very versatile in the sense that they can be defensive with that battle armor, or they can use Liquid Veil for resist, plus more offensive power, which I'll get into in a second. And then weak armor is great offensively, especially in a ROM hack context where you can switch in on physical moves very easily and trigger the weak armor very easily. You have tons of great coverage. I mean, weak armor is borderline broken, honestly, in this context, but it's cool, so I'll let them cook. And then again, that battle armor is great. You've also got Withdraw and Iron Defense, so Withdraw gives you +1 to both your defenses, and then Iron Defense, of course, gives you +2 defense, so those are incredible with Battle Armor. I mean, really, you can just stall things out for days with Battle Armor, and especially with Aromatic Mist, that's an incredible exclusive move, which they do get in Vanilla. However, it's reworked to now drop attack, special attack, and special defense by -2. So, scent-based Pokemon like Dash Bun, Alchemy, Aromatisse stuff. I mean, Aromatisse isn't in Scarlet Valley, but you get the point. Stuff like that gets access to Aromatic Mist, and that's a really cool debuffing option. And again, you cannot be crit through those drops, which is just amazing. Even earlier on, you've got stuff like Charm, Disarming Voice, which drops attack and special attack, Chilling Water, stuff like that is all really good debuffing options as well with Battle Armor. So Battle Armor, S tier ability, and very, very useful. Liquid Veil, very, very cool to switch to when you do need that extra water damage. I mean, 134 base special attack, Liquid Veil is insanely strong. It's Water Bubble if you can't look at the screen and you didn't look at the beginning. It's Water Bubble, so, even just 100 base power Surf or 75 base power Water Pulse goes to 150 and 200 base power respectively. Even early game, 100 base power Chilling Water is very, very solid. That's your strongest move up until Hex at level 17. Of course, type effectiveness and stuff is going to matter more. But you get the idea. It's a very cool. I mean, it makes your water coverage super, super strong, and then it also gives you a fire resist. So Ghost Fairy that also resists fire is very unique. If I should pull up, like, I don't know, Mimikyu, I guess I can show Ghost Fairy's defensive utilities. So it actually has only one resist in Bug, but it does have 3 immunities, so that's really good. And a Bug resist is good, especially in a ROM hack like this, but it's, it's nice to have more than one resist. So now you get an extra one in fire, which is very nice. However, your raw bulk in general will let you take things better. I will say Ghost Grass Sinistcha is a lot better in terms of the resistances because it has more of them. As a grass type, it's resistant to, like, grass and electric and all this other stuff. So that is definitely useful. I also find it kind of funny how they're both neutral to poison. That's a funny thing I just noticed. But yeah, Liquid Veil, super cool ability, offensively and defensively. Also, you can't get burnt, which is like somewhat significant once in a while, but not really a huge deal in an in-game context, especially on a special attacker. And then Weak Armor is great. Like I covered earlier, you switch in, you outspeed everything in a game at +2. You don't even need to run speed EVs. You can run max HP, max special attack, and just outspeed everything at +2 and then go crazy with your coverage moves and all this other fun stuff. So yeah, Battle Armor, Weak Armor are the two you'll be using most of the time, and then once in a while you'll switch to Liquid Veil when you need that extra, offensive stuff. Scald also is a guaranteed burn now, so that's a really good option. 60 base power only, but again, it's a nice reliable. It's like Will-O-Wisp, but it's even earlier than Will-O-Wisp. TM for Will-O-Wisp is a little bit later. It's like in the 30s, depending on the path you're taking. But yeah, Scald, good. Also, Scald damages more, so that's cool. Yeah, Strength's up I already covered. That's great with Battle Armor. And then you've also got Tea Time, which is synergy. I balanced it specifically around Battle Armor because +1. So essentially it's like Cosmic Power, where it gives you +1 special attack, special defense, and defense, which is what Cosmic Power does now. I like the effect of Tea Time in doubles. It makes you eat berries, whatever. That's a cute little gimmick. But in a singles oriented hack, it's not very good to have a move that all it does is make you eat your berry. It's not useless. But I mean, I don't know. If you want speed, like Select-Berry, you just run fucking Weak Armor. If you want defense boost, just click a defense boosting move with Battle Armor. So I don't know. It's not very good. Tea Time, just click Iron Defense, whatever. It's just not very good. So, and you can run a different item as well and having to run a berry. Not that berries are bad. Berries are great in an in-game context. It's just not a very good move. So, yeah, Tea Time, and I can't really do anything to change that. So I had to just make it a setup move. So with Battle Armor, getting +1 special attack, special defense, and defense is great because you can abuse things like Draining Kiss or Strength Sap, and just, you can kind of just sit on things forever with +1, +1, +1. You don't have any like glaring weaknesses with your typing, so you can just sit on even like super effective moves and take them and heal back with +1 Draining Kiss or +1 Mega Drain or Siphon or all these other heal moves. You also got Sweet Scent, which is really good early on. I mean, it's good in general up until you get Aromatic Mist, which outclasses it, but Sweet Scent just drops special stats by -1, so that's a really nice little option. Coverage-wise, I threw on Power Gem because they are a little pot. I think that's a cool option. Aura Sphere is a pretty widespread move on Pokemon, like most Ghost types and stuff in this game. Eternal Beam is very strong. Moonblast is weaker, but doesn't deal recoil. So those are all really cool fairy options. I mean, you've got tons of fun things. Parting Shot and Teleport are also really cool with Battle Armor. Teleport giving you a guaranteed slow pivot with no risk, no crit, no nothing. And then Parting Shot, you can rack up stat drops and keep switching back and forth into, like, for example, if you have a Pokemon that is weak to like Dragon or baiting a Dragon move or Fighting move or a normal move, or Bug move, whatever, you can keep switching back and forth with Battle Armor, Parting Shot, Battle Armor, Parting Shot over and over again, which is fun. Scarf also is good for 80 base speed versus 70 from Sinistcha, so that is a little bit of a difference there. Not that 70 base speed is bad with Scarf, it's not at all in an in-game context, but 80 is even better. 80 outspeeds pretty much everything with Scarf in this context, so that's really nice because you don't always have to run Weak Armor. You can do like Scarf Liquid Veil stuff, or if you're switching on like a special attack, that way you can not, Weak Armor only functions with physical moves, so that's all really fun. Overall, this guy would be an absolute blast to use. Both them and Sinistrar. I mean, they are similar in regards to their abilities, but of course the typing and stuff is different. Not to mention the Matcha Gacha exclusive, burn heal move that Sinistrar has, and just all the other little differences. Shell Smash is an endgame move. Don't even fucking think about it. I don't know, man. I'll probably have a soft ban on setup moves anyways, but there will be anti-setup stuff like Quick Claw put into place on the AI that'll hopefully stop setup, but it's, there's so many cheesy things you can do on a lot of Pokemon to even prevent that type of anti-setup, so it's not the most, I don't know, it's not really intended. That's why it's level 100, right? You only get it for 9 boss fights, I believe. Yeah, 9 boss fights. So, you get it for the League and the other endgame boss fights. Astral Storm, nice, strong, reliable. Spectral Beam is Ghost-type Draco Meteor, so that's super cool. You can use that with like a jetpack, or I don't know, just in general, just for a strong move for later on in the game, for the end game. Shadow Ball's 90, Moonblast 95, you get the deal. Gets other good coverage moves like Energy Ball, Sludge Bomb. I already covered the water ones, Aura Sphere. So yeah, very fun one. I would really love to use them. Soul Absorb, even just like Soul Absorb Battle Armor, right? Like you can just, Soul Absorb is Nightshade, but it heals you, right? So essentially you can just, it only has 5 PP, but you can 1v1 things for days with your heal moves, like Draining Kiss and Soul Absorb in conjunction with that Battle Armor. It's just such a nice thing to not have to worry about crits in a ROM hack like this. So, and then there are also a lot of guaranteed crit moves like Wicked Blow variants. For example, in this case, they get Astral Storm, which is special Ghost Wicked Blow, which is, the downside is you can't use them twice in a row, so you can't spam like Astral Storm with Scarf, for example, but of course you have weak armor, so you can just switch from Astral Storm to Eternal Beam or whatever other high base power stab or coverage move you want to run, so yeah, very, very strong, which is why it's, at the end of the game. Yeah, I think I've covered pretty much everything that's like super relevant. Obviously, you've also got your good old reliable priority and Spook and Pixie Dust, which is really nice if you're not running weak armor. Just to finish something off, if you're like running a Stallier set and they're like in range, you can click that. With Move Relearner, you can really do anything. So yeah, thank you for listening. Let me know if you made it to the end. Shout out to you if you did, and drop a comment if you made it to the end. That'd be very helpful. And yeah, check out my other videos, check out the Google Sheet, all that good stuff, and I'll be back for more. Peace.